My name is Merijn. That's a Dutch name. It takes a couple of years. Initially, the name of this presentation was going to be "Don't Focus on Annotation." Thanks, Tom. So I went in, took it out, and now it's community first. And so we are a community. But our community focuses on a lot of analytical stuff. A lot of like, hey, how can we, do this feature and that feature? And my talk is something more of a call to say, like, okay, like Tom's saying, let's look out there and look at our users and see how we can really solve certain problems for them first, and everything else will follow. All right, so initially, when we started FactLink, and I'll go back a couple of years too, like Tom did, we had this idea, which is build a collective perspective of the world's information. And that is not hampered by any lack of ambition. And that's how we like it. So we were a group of really good engineers, we thought, and we tackled it from an engineering perspective. So this is an image that was, that we had years and years ago. And the idea is like, okay, so there's billions and billions of documents out there. And in those documents, there's these hundreds and billions of statements. But, if you look, and this is like, you can see how old this Google screenshot is, right? So it says Stanford is the best university. And there's about 120,000 unique exact matches. Now that number cannot be trusted. But at the same time, because it's not annotated, but at the same time, it's a lot. And so the question is like, okay, the people saying that in a conversation, we don't know what the conversation was. We don't know when it happened, why it happened, what their frame of reference was. So it's basically like loose scent. And same conversations keep happening over and over again. And so misinformation typically goes unpunished. There's lots of media out there where link bait works, and you get your readers, you get your statements in. And by the time people find out that it might not be true or what's really going on, the effect is there already, and it's just really hard to fight misinformation. I think that's one of the things that we were really focused on and are really focused on. And so I think annotation has the potential to do something, be a game changer in that. And in order to make it a game changer, we need users to adopt it. And that is really what I'm trying to focus on right now. So discussions happen in silos. And our idea was like, how could we connect those silos and provide like a collective frame of reference? So when a reader comes across some information, you can check the frame of reference. What have others with expertise about this already, thought and debated about this? So we went off on a whole tour of thinking about like, so these statements are all connected, and you have graphs, and so basically every thought you have that you can, every knowledge you have, you can express as a statement. And those statements are supported by other statements and weakened by other statements. And, some are more supportive than others and have more impact than others. And that propagates and it all builds up. And you know what? The graph of my information and the graph of your information is different. But what if we could connect them? So we decided to build all the things. Right, which is what came down to a lot of features, and a lot of features doesn't always help, right? And so what I'm also seeing today is all these awesome features, and many times when there's questions from the audience, it's like, how can we do this, or how can we do that? Can we tag it, or can we? Those problems are problems that we like as as intellectuals, as analysis guys. So we might not be the general target audience, and even though I think that these problems need to be solved, I think we should solve them because we need to solve them in order to fix something for our users. And we're not really the users. So let's find out what the users are really doing. So build all the things, right? So not everything went totally well with that. And I want to tell you guys today a little bit about what we learned. So hopefully, as a community, we can learn from that. The initial idea was very much annotation focused. And don't focus on annotation, as has already been said, but annotation is really cool and really powerful. And so we went out and said, like, okay, here's an old screenshot, right? So we said, like, okay, you select a statement, and then I get to, for instance, agree or disagree or be uncertain about the statement. And the circle you see in the middle there is clickable, and it's both basically the overview, the graph of what's happening, and it's a way to interact with it. Well, our users didn't quite get that, and it would connect to other statements, and people would like it, and it would be scores, and we could add weakening and supporting arguments. So we needed obviously topics, right, or layers, or views and channels, and so we went out and added that. And it's really cool because you can autocomplete, you see what others have already typed, you add that, and it creates channels. So we could create filters to go from all the noise to signal. At least that was the idea. So think about Twitter, right? It's great, and I like to follow someone for the stuff they do on annotation. But they also talk about their mountain biking in the weekend. And although I'm really it's great, but it's not what I want to see in my stream. So we focused on providing channels to do that, and so you have a stream that is focused, like Tom said, it's a layer, or you look at something, and we built this great search interface, so you can search for fact links and topics and people. And by the way, what we call a fact link is an annotation with a link to the information about it. So that was meant as a really boring name, as a gray name that would be functional, like a hyperlink. Okay, fact link is just an annotation that provides you information about it. So that was really focused on the structural element that we're doing here together, right? It's like annotate the information and connect it all together. But we got some really, really, really happy power users, and they loved it. And those users are a little bit like we are. But that's, those users are very analytical, and most people are social. So what happens is not many people used it. We got great, feedback from people loving it, and then not using it. So what do you do then? So we decided, okay, so a conversation is really what binds people and is a driver, and annotation is just a step. Even though the objective is to provide this enormous powerful tool and build it into anything that could use it, and make annotation that bridge between all kinds of stuff. In order to get there needs to be a purpose for that, and that is a conversation. All right, so we decided to change things and make annotation a consequence of something else, and we decided to shift. We slashed 80% of the product. We removed all the stuff. Now we have all the knowledge, but too bad. And we decided to just make a very simple little tool that publishers can build into their site. So we have a large consumerish population, and we can really see what the users do. We can really user test, and user testing turned out to be the most important thing for us. So let me just hit a quick. So here's a website that is has FactLink on there turned on, or basically this annotation structure. So scroll down. What you see is here these little pluses that pop up next to a paragraph, and here's actually something that's already in there. So someone annotated that. I click on that, sidebar opens. I can see what's annotated. It's not called a fact link or a structure or anything like that, but I can say it's interesting. I can say, nice, add that, it's added, but other stuff is ranking much higher because people are talking about that I don't like what this guy is saying and I think this is actually really good. There's another link in here going to a different annotation on a different site that's related. You go through a proxy, there's this guy, and it opens with the statement right there already on it, and we can see how that works. So that is pretty great. And then I want to show you something else, which is Annotator, which is a really, really cool project. So here's how it would work if I can say, okay, Annotator on your site is really easy. So let's do that. Add one myself and say, great. Push it out, and then I can select, well, let's push this to Twitter. I hash it, INO14, here we go, and tweet it. So what now happens is my friends will see it on Twitter, they can see what's going on. Then if I hit Twitter search here, let me refresh that. And it's not there yet. But, there you go. So my friends see my statement. They're not interested in an annotation. They're interested in what I'm saying because of me, or they're not interested, but they're interested in someone else that's using it. So if they click on that, they go to the website, and it opens right there, and it actually does open with the... So it opens right there, and it's all working. Except that Annotator kicked out the proxy. So what we did is we built and so if you click on Facebook, it's basically the story there. So focused on the conversation between users, then see what the users really do when they interact, and then help them solve problems. And with that, do that with annotation. So the question is not, how do you annotate everything? The question is, what can you solve for users, and use that with annotation. So better information through annotation maybe, but definitely through community. And we want to work with you. The proxy is open source that we just released, and you can find that on GitHub. Thank you guys.
Okay, this is not really an important question or anything, but I saw that you were running FactLink on Medium, which already has annotations. Do they ever get displayed over one another or anything like that?
So what's your question?
You were running FactLink on top of Medium, which already has annotations. How does it deal with that?
It's a good question. I don't know.
No.
So I think what we try to provide is an annotation layer when people can really interact. And I hope that turns into all kinds of problems that we need to solve, like overlapping annotations and vandalism and all kinds of stuff. And then we're going to add all the features based on users actually using it. So getting users to collaborate is the single most important thing you can do to support annotation, I think.
Frederick Hirsch, Nokia. I had a question about the fact, I think you mentioned you use a proxy for this. What happens as people decide to encrypt the web? Does that break this, or does it matter? Or?
That is another of those questions that is a great question related to a feature, but I don't know. So the proxy is open source, so check it out and see what we can do. But I think there's points where it doesn't work or where you don't want it to work, and people should have the ability to say hey, it's work here, or I don't want it to work here, and create additional settings. And all those things will come from people bumping into that and using that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.